Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy 2020. And for this year, the first video for this year, I'm going to show you how I made this wig. It's a closure wig and then I cut it into a bob. I've always wanted a short bob and I think it came out great for a first try. So I have a 16-inch closure from Hair Valley, and I have two bundles, a 12-inch and a 14-inch from Allove Hair. You will also need needles. I use the curved needles. I have 4, and then I put in thread at the same time so that I can work faster. You're going to need pins to pin down your wig cap. I'm using a dome cap that I got from, I think it's Discam, but another shop that I like to get my equipment or my tools is Allove Hair. You will also need a pair of scissors in order to cut the thread, and sometimes when you have to cut the weft. So as you can see, I have secured my wig cap on my mannequin head, and now I'm aligning my closure to the middle part of the wig cap. I then use the pins to secure that closure down in order for me to wrap the hair around and so that it moves out of the way. Please guys, make sure that your closure is laying flat. Otherwise, after all the sewing that you do, then you realize that it's actually not laying flat and you're gonna have to redo, and that's a waste of a wig cap as well. So I just came closer to show you how I secured my closure on my wig cap. And just another tip, you need to move your closure a bit forward. You move it forward to conceal the cap, and also so that when you're wearing your wig, the side of the wig cap doesn't necessarily show. So when you move the closure a bit forward, you'll be able to conceal the cap. So now we're gonna start sewing down the closure on the wig cap. I've done this numerous times, so I know why I'm doing it this way, but you can start anywhere you like on the closure. So when I sew the closure down, I sew through the closure and through the cap, and then I make sort of like a knot. I make a knot twice around the needle. Please just watch carefully on what I'm doing. I don't have a better way to explain this at this moment, but as soon as I do more tutorials, I'll find better words to use. But now please just look at what I'm doing. Obviously, when you get to the part where there's a T-pin, you have to remove it so that you can carry on sewing. As you can see, I sew down the back part of the closure first, and then I tie that knot, and then I move to the sides. I do this so that I can be able to see if my closure is still straight. So I'm going to remove the pins. Although I don't show you here, I remove the pins and I make sure I still align it straight. This just gives you room to fix whatever mistake that you might have made before you carry on. So now I move to the sides and I sew the same way I sew down the back. I do the exact same thing. So this part I try to zoom in for you guys to show you this tip. Please, when you get to the elastic part, the front part of your dome cap, do not, I repeat, do not sew through the cap. So basically what I'm doing is I'm sewing through the closure, but I'm not going through the elastic part of the dome cap. So if you take your dome cap and you feed it in front, there's an elastic in between the black material. So I go through the first top part of the material. I don't go through the elastic and the under part, because if you do that, it will not stretch in the front part. Please guys, just watch carefully what I'm doing and don't make this mistake. So now we are done sewing down our closure. We're going to move to the bundles. I start at the back and I start with the longer bundle, the 14-inch. So with this part, you're going to sew down in a U shape until you get to the top where you cover the shape of the closure. Please look, you'll see what I'm talking about. So when you start a bundle, I sew through the weft of the bundle and the cap. And I do the same thing as I did when I was sewing down the closure. You do the knot 2 times, 3 times, however many times you want, but 2 times is the safest one. Don't complicate your life, and you sew through. And you to make things easier as well is to pin the weft along the shape that you're going to sew through, so that it's easier for you to sew. So while I'm sewing whatever, in the middle part, I don't sew through the track. I sew around the tracks. Please just watch what I mean. I don't go through the track and I do it around. This is to maintain the longevity of your weft and for you to be able to reuse whenever you want to, change things up. So I don't do it through the weft in between my tracks. I do it around. As soon as I can see that my thread is finishing, I then pierce through the track and to prepare for me to start a new one. So I pierce through the cap and the track and do it twice, do a knot twice, and then so that I can cut it and do a knot and start a fresh track. Please don't wait until you have the shortest length of thread available and you're not able to tie a knot. Please, once you can see that this is it's getting to the end, rather just start a new one. When I get to the end of the length of what I want to sew down, I don't cut my weft, I do the fold over method. So the fold over method, you sew through the cap and the weft. Then as soon as you've pulled your thread through, you fold the track. Then you pierce your needle through the track, the two tracks. So the bottom track and the top track at the same time. Then you do your knot and you pull it. Please watch carefully and be careful with this step because you can pierce your finger. So the closer I get to my closure, I start cutting my wefts at the ends. I'm doing this so that it doesn't get too bulky, and also because I want to make it into a bob. Usually when I make a longer length wig, I don't cut at all. I fold my wefts throughout, but with a bob I want it that flat. So this is a couple of days after finishing my wig. I've already cut my wig into a bob. I cannot show you guys how I cut the hair because it's quite tricky and I'm still learning that part, but I'm sure you can find other tutorials on YouTube on how to cut a wig. Don't forget, you have to cut the cap under the closure part. Just make sure that you don't cut too close to the stitches because they will unravel. So this is how my wig looks just after washing. I don't like to straighten this particular bob because I like the way it is, the curliness, that type of pattern. I like it. So what I usually do, I just put in some oil, a little bit, not a lot, because oil can weigh down your hair. And I go in with my Hair wax stick on the top part of my closure just to help all the flyaways to lay down. And then I use my hot comb that I got from Amazon. It's the Andis brand, and I use that to flatten the top part of my closure. And there you have it, guys. That's the final look. This is how I make my closures. In 2020, we're making our own closures. We're wearing lashes, guys. Come on, stop sleeping. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.